Make some noise.
Everyone loves bonus content. From the bonus features on DVDs and Blu-rays, to bonus sections in collected editions of comic books that contain bonus stories and behind-the-scenes information showing the artistic process behind the making of the comic. Since at least the advent of CDs, music has had its share of unique content that comes with the main album. From the 80s and early 90s, there were bonus tracks that were either taken from the album's recording sessions, or they were different versions of songs on the main album like a 12-inch version or a remix. Older albums that were reissued on CD contained bonus tracks from outtakes to demos to alternative mixes to live performances. Obviously as a way to entice an album purchase. This practice still happens today, as there are modern reissues that contain additional tracks, either on one disc or in the form of a bonus disc. And there are current day releases from artists old and new that have bonus tracks on them. Another variation of this are the exclusive tracks that contain songs not contained on the original album. Essentially a deluxe edition bonus track. Digital, vinyl, cassette, and CDs, depending on the artist and or the label, can contain a unique track not part of the original album. It's always cool to see what was left on the cutting room floor. Sometimes there are albums made years later that have deluxe editions that contain the original versions that were made in the past that were scrapped back then. Additionally, there are also reissues that include re-recordings of albums, alternative mixes for different countries, as well as live albums. Other times, CD versions of an album will include an EP as extra tracks. Then there are bonus tracks on a CD that couldn't justify making a double vinyl. On the other hand, there are vinyl or digital exclusive bonus tracks which serve a similar purpose when an album isn't put on CD and there is enough space to fit it. Or it's done to boost those streaming numbers, because sheesh, a lot of mainstream artists like to bloat their albums with special editions, which are just extra albums on top of an existing album. And sometimes, the bonus tracks are better than some songs on the main album. There's another type of bonus content, though this is more exclusive to CDs from the late 90s to the mid to late 2000s. As this is something that isn't done anymore, since this was during an early bygone internet era before YouTube. Or at least before YouTube was heavily used. That being those enhanced CDs that contain media that is made to promote the band. These contain things from band photos to music videos or even concert footage in glorious 240p potato quality. Some discs have more than others. A lot of bands from this period had these types of CDs, as well as some reissues of their older albums in the late 90s. Some would contain information about the band and their prior releases, up until that point. For further information on this, I'd recommend Dancing with Ghosts' video on this topic, as he goes into detail about this stuff way better than I could, as he was there when it was a thing. I'm just a stupid zoomer/zennial giving my own thoughts after looking into this with the few enhanced CDs I own. People might argue that hidden tracks are bonus content too, as there are songs, some good and some really random, being put on the album. I would disagree, as it is a song on the main album, so it wouldn't count as a bonus track. It was put there on purpose by the artist. One more variation that would sometimes be bundled with these examples, mostly CDs with bonus tracks, are the bonus DVDs. These contain a plethora of material that can give insight to a band's process at a given point in time. These bonus DVDs can contain music videos for songs, behind-the-scenes making-of documentaries showing the band working in the studio, along with interviews giving insight from the artists themselves from what they were thinking at the time. Sometimes these DVDs can also contain concert footage, some professionally filmed from a well-known festival or taken from a soundboard, or footage that was taken from somebody filming the concerts at the time. The latter being rarer examples, since these are examples of lesser-known bands not having a lot of live footage back then, and having them is a great way to preserve their history. Sometimes these DVDs also contain footage from a band on tour and whatever behind-the-scenes shenanigans goes on with them. The funniest content from these bonus DVDs can contain very ridiculous material that teeters on being shitposts.
So we're not as heavy as those other bands, huh? Not as heavy?
Heavy rock!
Not as heavy?
It rocks!
Oh, that's it now. Yeah! Not as heavy? Yeah!
I gotta be honest, this
Keep
really
doing it.
hurts.
Yeah! Okay, all right, now listen.
It's heavy!
Let's get back in there and finish this. Quit being such a pain in the ass.
It's not entirely perfect, as there are things about bonus content that can get on one's nerves. Some versions of albums with bonus material can be exclusive to specific regions of the world. So not every region has access to the same version unless you're willing to fork over the cash. Some are more affordable than others. It can also be difficult finding a version with all the material in a good condition, whether it be on eBay, Discogs, or even Amazon, as they fetch for a high price. It can be an excruciating search. Sometimes there are versions of versions where the bonus disc is completely different. What can also be annoying is when those tracks aren't available anywhere in an official capacity and can only be heard through fan re-uploads. I think we can all think of a few bands that have enough material that never gets put on streaming or on a standard edition of an album to warrant an entire compilation. Then there's the infamous Japanese exclusive track, where a track from the album sessions are used as a bonus track for that particular version. It is known why this practice is done. Japanese CDs are given incentives for local listeners to buy them, so bands and labels make extended editions with tracks to add value to that CD. Some say it's also done so a Japanese consumer isn't given a reason to buy a copy via import. Let me know in the comments whether that's true or not. This isn't exclusive to Japan, of course, as this practice has been applied to the rest of the world. Going back to bonus DVDs, it's infuriating that a ton of albums that included them and their contents are never released online. Even when it's released over a decade ago! Some of these get lost to time, and some thankfully get re-uploaded and not taken down. But not all the time. I'm sure people out there could think of examples of bonus DVD content being or not being uploaded or were uploaded and disappeared. It really sucks as there's a lot of interesting and useful information on those discs, and shows a perspective of an artist during that time period. Something else that's also very infuriating, when the DVDs have copyright protection, and you have to go through various loops just to get the content of a legitimately owned disc that you own. At the end of the day, there's unique material out there, and being able to obtain them is gratifying. It's a shame not all of it is properly preserved and can lead to a mess. It's good knowing there are people out there who are able to preserve them for the long term. But that goes to show, that's just the charm and pain of bonus content in music.